How important are your ankles when it comes to your performance? As it turns out, if you're a field sport athlete, pretty important. Typically, when you're sprinting, you've got about 7 or 8 times your body weight going through your ankle joint, maybe even more than that. Now, here are a couple of really quick fire, simple tips that they're not new exercises. They're nothing that's going to add a ton of time to your training. It's just a different way of doing what you probably, or what you maybe should already be doing in your own training. Number one, we're going to work the ankle through as much range of movement as possible. Now, that might be fucking terrifying for some experts out there that believe you should not be going anywhere near full range. However, very, very beneficial, because if you are not getting movement at the ankle, believe it or not, designed to dorsiflex and plantar flex, and then also generate some rotation, you are losing out, okay? You might as well be wearing fucking wellies while you're playing football. We're not going to do that. What we're going to actually do is improve our capacity for controlling the range and then applying force through it. So number one, here we go. We're going to do some calf raises. Oh my God, calf raises. Would you believe it? Right. So this time, rather than doing just from the floor and standing, working through the top part of the range, I'm actually going to use this little ramp to generate a little bit of a deficit. So I'm getting a stretch through the calf at the bottom, and then I'm pushing through as much range as I possibly can. And the whole way through this, you're controlling the tension, you feel the stretch at the bottom, and then push up. Great little primer, great little warm up to your exercises, great little bit of prep work for your session. Now, the second one, this is where we're going to change the camera angle slightly. So this second one, really, really simple. We are looking at a lunge pattern or a lunge position. Again, quite scary for some people, especially in that unilateral stance where you might look like you're about to start sprinting. Something of an athletic activity, don't you think? Right, what we're going to do is stop being so sarcastic. Plant your foot, heel on the ground to start with, and then the little change you're going to make is to bring that heel up. Pretty resemblant of the position you would be in when it comes to pushing off and starting that sprinting motion. You can then hold an isometric position here, and if you feel like it, if you want to get really fancy, you can then start going through some split lunge reps. Or if you want to start adding force into the mix and working at a higher capacity, you can then start adding in a little bit more force and a little bit more speed. Note how the heel doesn't touch the ground at any point during this movement. Similar to a sporting activity, you don't want to be getting caught flat-footed on your heels. It gives you nowhere to go. You want to be forwards onto the ball of your foot so you can push off and change direction wherever you like. Now, it doesn't necessarily even have to be split lunge. You could do it in a squat position, so your normal squat stance, toes underneath or feet underneath the hips. Think about a jumping position, the most athletic position you can possibly be in, as opposed to wide squat for a heavy, or wide squat stance for a heavy barbell squat. We're not looking at barbell squatting. What we're looking at is maximal athletic development to be able to push, change direction, jump, accelerate and sprint. So feet underneath the hips for a solid base, good back angle, and then from there, again, you can hold that position. It should resemble something like the bottom of your jump position with your heels off the floor. And again, head, chest up as if you're assessing and looking at the field of play. From there, you can keep your heels up, hit your reps and work through that, stay balanced on it. And then if you've worked through your reps, you can also add more force and make it more explosive by turning it into a jump. Would you believe it? How complicated and mind-blowing is that? Now, the final one, okay? You won't believe how difficult this is. I've got a plate, one plate on the floor, not 20 resistance bands with 15 kettlebells hanging off and a chain around my head. Nope, one plate on the floor. I'm gonna put my foot on it, all right? The heel of the foot is gonna be off the edge of the plate, okay? This means that the front of the foot, the ball of the foot is supported, similar to that lunge position we were holding before. This time, we've got that floating heel. Again, if you're performing lunges, split squats, rear elevated split squats, Bulgarian split squats, any form of unilateral leg exercise you like, you can use this to help elevate that heel, and it just provides a little bit of a stability challenge for the lower leg. So you should feel that the quads are working a little bit more. Again, we're talking about muscles that are primarily responsible for us to be able to jump, sprint, extend the knee, and drive from there. So again, similar things. You won't believe how simple this is and how uncomplicated training can be. You're going to keep your heel off the floor, holding that position. Once you've done your isometric hold, you can then go into movements, you can go into reps, then you could go into your split squat jumps. Super simple, super simple. Add that into your routine 2-3 times a week. Promise you, when you dial that in with your sprinting and everything else that you're doing, because you're training like an athlete, you will see results. If you like this video and find these training tips useful, make sure you drop me a follow and stick around for more.